Last week, a 2-year-old guy told me he stopped doing push-ups because he could only do 4. He said it felt embarrassing. So I asked him a question that changed his whole outlook. 4 is embarrassing compared to what? He didn't have an answer, because nobody ever told him what the actual standard is for a man his age. He was comparing himself to a 25-year-old Marine, or to himself at 30, and losing that comparison every single time. Here's the truth. 4 push-ups at 62 is not a failure. Depending on your body weight, your shoulder history, and how long you've been away from training, 4 might be exactly where you should start, and it might be worth more than you think. So today I'm going to give you real numbers, not vibes, what the fitness assessment tables actually say for people in their 60s, what the research suggests about why upper body strength matters at this age, how to test yourself safely this week, and how to build from wherever you land. Stick around for the part about wrists, because that's the thing that stops most people over 60 before their chest or arms ever get tired. Let me make the case first. Because if you don't believe this matters, the numbers won't stick. A push-up is not a chest exercise. That's the misunderstanding. A push-up is a moving plank. Your shoulders, chest, and triceps do the pressing tool, but your abs, your glutes, your lower back, and even your quads are holding a straight line the whole time. That's why it's so hard. And that's why it's so useful. At 60 and beyond, 3 things start slipping if you let them. 1, pushing strength. This is what you use to get up off the floor. Push yourself out of a low chair. Push a heavy door. Or catch yourself if you stumble forward. That last one is not a small thing. A lot of fall injuries in older adults happen because there was no strength available to break the fall. 2, muscle mass. Adults lose roughly 3 to 8% of muscle mass per decade after 30. And the rate tends to accelerate after 60. That process, sarcopenia, is not a sentence. It responds to resistance training at basically every age that's been studied, including in people in their 80s and 90s. 3, bone density. Loading your wrists, forearms, and shoulders against gravity is one of the few things you can do at home that puts meaningful mechanical stress on the upper body skeleton. And then there's the study. Everybody quotes. In 2019, JAMA Network Open published research following about 100 male firefighters. Average age around 40. For 10 years, the men who could complete more than 40 push-ups in a single test had a dramatically lower rate of cardiovascular events over the following decade compared to the men who could do fewer than 10. Now, I want to be honest with you about what that study does and doesn't say, because a lot of channels butcher this one. It was all men. It was all firefighters who are healthier than average and screened for the job. The average age was 40, not 60, and it was observational, which means it shows an association, not proof that push-ups themselves caused better heart outcomes. It's very likely that push-up capacity is a marker of overall fitness rather than a magic intervention, but that's still useful. Your push-up number is a cheap, free, 30-second window into your overall physical condition. It's a dashboard light, and unlike most dashboard lights, this one you can actually do something about. Okay, here's what you came for. The most widely used reference tables in North America come from fitness assessment protocols like the ones used by the Canadian Society for Exercise Physiology, which are also cited in American College of Sports Medicine materials. These are norm-referenced, meaning they tell you how you compare to other people your age, not what a doctor says you must hit. 2 important notes before the numbers. First, the standard protocol tests men on full push-ups from the toes and women on modified push-ups from the knees. That's a legacy of how the tables were built, not a statement about what you're capable of. Second, these are 1 set to fatigue numbers with good form, not a max you grind out over 5 minutes. Men, age E60, 69, full push-ups. 1 set, excellent. 17 or more, very good. 12 to 16, good 10 to 11. Fair 8 to 9. Needs improvement, 7 or fewer. Women, age E60, 69, modified knee push-ups. 1 set, excellent. 17 or more, very good. 12 to 16, good. 5 to 11, fair 2 to 4. Needs improvement, 1 or fewer. Look at that good range again. For a 6'5" man, 10 solid push-ups puts you in decent shape relative to your peers. Not elite, but not the disaster my friend thought 4 was. And if you're at 0 right now, that's a starting point, not a verdict. I've worked with people who couldn't do 1 push-up in January and were doing 15 by summer. The first one is the hardest one you'll ever get. Here's my personal take, and I'll flag it clearly as opinion rather than published standard. I think a reasonable working target for most healthy adults in their 60s is 15 to 20 controlled push-ups, at whatever angle you can perform them with a straight body line. Angle matters less than control. 20 clean incline push-ups off a countertop is a genuinely fit result. 20 sloppy floor push-ups with a sagging back is not. Let's get your number. Do this today or tomorrow, not sometime. Before you start, the honest safety part. If you've had a heart event, a shoulder surgery, a rotator cuff tear, unmanaged high blood pressure, a recent fall, or you get dizzy when you change positions, talk to your doctor or a physical therapist before max effort testing. This is a general fitness video, not medical advice. And I've never examined you. Stop immediately if you get chest pressure, sharp shoulder pain, shortness of breath that feels wrong, or lightheadedness. The protocol: warm up for 5 minutes. Arm circles, 10 wall push-ups, 10 bodyweight squats, a few shoulder rolls. Cold shoulders are how people get hurt on tests. Pick your angle honestly. Floor, knees, or hands elevated on a counter. Table, or stairs. Choose the one where you're confident you can do at least 3. Set your body hands slightly wider than shoulders. Fingers spread. Elbows tracking back at roughly 45 degrees from your ribs, not flared straight out to the sides. Squeeze your glutes and brace your abs, so your body is 1 plank from head to heels or head to knees. Lower with control, about 2 seconds down, until your chest is a fist's height from the surface, or as low as you can go without your hips dropping. Press up. Full lockout. No bouncing. Count only the reps where your hips stayed in line. The rep where your back sagged doesn't count. Neither does the head bob rep where your chin dropped but your chest didn't. Stop when your form breaks, not when you hit failure. Leave 1 or 2 in the tank on a test day. Write the number down with the date and the angle you used. March 3rd. Incline off the kitchen counter. Neoreps. That's your baseline. In 6 weeks, you're going to be very glad you wrote it down. B. Roll film the counter version, the knee version, and the floor version from a side angle so people can see the body line. This is your highest value footage in the whole video. Spend real time on it. Here's the ladder. Find your rung. Stay there until you own it. Then move up 1. Rung 1. Wall push-ups. Stand arm's length from a wall. Hands at chest height. This is where you start if you're deconditioned. Coming back from illness. Or your wrists hurt on the floor. Goal before moving on 20 clean reps. Rung 2. Countertop or sturdy table. Big jump in difficulty from the wall. Goal 15 clean reps. Rung 3 stairs. The beauty of stairs is that they're an adjustable dial. Hands on the 5th step. Then the 4th. Then the 3rd. Each step down is a small, manageable increase. Instead of one terrifying leap, goal at each step 12 clean reps. Rung 4. Knee push-ups on the floor. Put a folded towel or cushion under your knees. Critical detail most people miss. Keep your hips forward, so you're a straight line from head to knees. If you're piked up at the hips, you're making it easier and cheating yourself. Goal 15 clean reps. Rung 5. Negatives from the toes. Start at the top of a full push-up. Lower yourself as slowly as you can. Aim for 5 seconds. Then drop to your knees and reset. Your body is much stronger lowering than pressing. So this builds the strength for your first real one. Goal 5 slow negatives. Rung 6. Full push-ups. Congratulations. Now you're chasing that 15 to 20. Rung 7. If you want more slow tempo, 3 seconds down. 1 second pause at the bottom. Then feet elevated. Then paused reps. There's no ceiling here. One rule that matters more than the ladder itself: do not skip rungs because of ego. The person who spends 4 weeks getting excellent at incline push-ups builds a better foundation than the person who grinds out 3 ugly floor reps for 4 weeks and tweaks a shoulder. Frequency beats intensity at this age. Recovery is slower at 60 than it was at 30. That's real physiology, not defeatism. So we spread the work out instead of hammering it. The template 3 days a week. Non-consecutive. Monday. Wednesday. Friday works. So does Tuesday. Thursday. Saturday. Each session 3 sets. Stop each set 2 reps before your form would break. If your test number was 9, do sets of 6 or 7. That's not being soft. That's the actual training principle. Training close to failure every set is how you get sore, discouraged, and injured. Progress by 1 rep per set. Per week. Week 1, 3 sets of 6. Week 2, 3 sets of 7. Week 3, 3 sets of 8. When you hit 3 sets of 15 comfortably, move down a rung on the ladder to a harder angle and start over at a lower rep count. That's it. That's the whole program. It fits in 6 minutes. 3 times a week. 18 minutes a week to meaningfully change your upper body strength over a few months. An 8-week realistic picture. If you start at 5 incline push-ups and follow this, a typical outcome is somewhere around 12 to 15 at that same angle by week 8. Or a move down 1 rung. Some people go faster. Some plateau for 2 weeks and then jump. Both are normal. Progress at 60 is less linear than it was at 25. And that is fine. Now the part I promised you, wrists. The number one reason people over 60 quit push-ups isn't strength, it's wrist pain from being bent back at 90 degrees under load. Four fix. In order of how much I like them, use push-up handles or parallettes, $20. And your wrists stay neutral. Best solution by far, grip a pair of dumbbells resting on the floor. Same effect. Free if you own dumbbells, elevate your hands. Countertop push-ups put far less extension through the wrist. Make a fist and go on your knuckles on a mat. Not a hard floor. This works but requires a strong wrist to begin with. Also, spread your fingers wide and grip the floor. Passive flat hands put all the load on the wrist joint. Active hands distribute it. Shoulders. If you feel a pinch in the front of the shoulder, your elbows are probably flaring out to 90 degrees. Bring them in so your arms form an arrow shape, not a T. And don't go so deep that your shoulders roll forward past your hands. The sagging back, lower back aching after push-ups means your core isn't holding the line. The fix isn't more push-ups, it's squeezing your glutes hard. Before you start and doing 2 0-second planks on your off days, the half rep. Very common. Very self-defeating. People bounce in the top third of the range. Full range at an easier angle beats partial range at a hard one. Every time. Neck craning. Look at a spot on the floor about a foot in front of your hands. Keep your head in line with your spine. So, how many push-ups should a 60-year-old do? If you want the short answer, 10 puts you in reasonable shape for your age. 17 or more puts you in the top tier of your peers. And 15 to 20 controlled reps at whatever angle you can hold a straight body line is a target worth chasing. But here's the answer I actually believe. The number that matters isn't the one in the table. It's the difference between your number today and your number in 8 weeks. That gap is the only comparison that means anything. Because it's the only one you control. My friend who was embarrassed by his 4, he's at 16. It took him 5 months. He's 63 now. And he does them every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday before his coffee. Go test yourself. Write the number down. Tell me in the comments what you got and what angle you used. I read them. And I'd genuinely like to know where this audience is starting from. This video is general fitness education, not medical advice. Talk to your doctor before starting a new exercise program.